The most popular savings challenge on my website is the $10,000 in 1 year challenge. This is true for both bi-weekly savers and weekly savers because everyone wants to save $10,000 per year. So in this video, we're going to look at a few of the things that you can do to actually save up $10,000 this year. For the last couple of years, I've actually done the $10,000 savings challenge as well. I have worked to save $10,000 for my home down payment on top of contributing to retirement, paying for vacations, and other financial goals. Saving up $10,000 can be difficult, but with these tips, you can actually stack up that money and end up in a better financial place within 1 year. So let's get started and look at what you can do to actually save $10,000. First thing you need to do is actually break down this goal. $10,000 can feel like a lot of money if you are not that high income, so breaking it down makes it much more achievable. You need to decide how often you're going to put money toward this goal. Is it going to be monthly? Once a month you make a transfer? Is it going to be every time you get paid and you're paid bi-weekly? Is it a weekly savings challenge where you look at your checking account and see what money you have left and move that over? You need to decide how often you're going to be putting money toward this goal. You can use that frequency to decide how you're going to actually tackle the goal. You can make this really simple if you want to. You can take that $10,000 and divide it by the number of times that year you're going to put money away. So if you are going to say, let's do bi-weekly savings. If you're going to save up $10,000, you basically divide $10,000 by 26, which is 26 bi-weekly paychecks throughout the year, which equals $384.61. So to make it easy, you can round that up to $385, and then you are able to save $385 every single time you get paid your bi-weekly paycheck throughout the year. This is how you divide it with any goal. So you would just take the $10,000 and divide it by 12 for the monthly goal. Then you would divide 10,000 by 52 if you were saving weekly, and that gives you a really simple number to work towards each time you get paid and want to move money toward your savings goal. Another way to do it by breaking it down is to actually do a savings challenge. Like I said, I have a really popular $10,000 savings challenge on my website. And one of the reasons it's popular is because the numbers are not the same every single time you put money away. Having random amounts each time you save can make it more like a game, which is really helpful for some people that aren't traditional savers or don't like to automate their savings. It makes it more of a fun thing that they can work on. And it's also really helpful for people that have variable income. If you're earning less some weeks than others, if you're earning less certain months of the year versus other months, it might be helpful to do a savings challenge with the more random amounts so you can put away less. You can pick smaller numbers during those times where you're not bringing in as much income, and then pick bigger numbers when you know you have a lot of income coming in at that certain time. This is how I do it. I like the random numbers because sometimes I do earn less money because I have a very creative yet variable income. Those are two ways you can set up how much you need to save, but it doesn't really matter which method you pick. You can do either option. The only thing that matters is that you've divided it out throughout the year and you have a plan you're working toward. You're doing something, you have it laid out for the whole year, because having that plan makes you much more likely to actually achieve saving $10,000. If you're just kind of going at it, throwing a few dollars here and there, you're likely going to miss that goal by a good amount. So once you have your plan in place, you need to actually evaluate your expenses and see where you're spending your money. This is so that you can actually find the money to put toward your goal. You need to know where you're spending your money so that you can create a budget so that you're able to put a little bit of money every time you budget toward this goal. You need to evaluate your expenses for both the month and the year so that you are able to plan around big expenses and still have the money in your budget, still have the wiggle room between what you're earning and what you're spending so that you can put that extra money toward this $10,000 savings goal. So you might have to make some cuts and changes in your budget when you realize you don't have anything extra and you're actually living paycheck to paycheck. But this is really important to do in the beginning of your $10,000 savings challenge. In the beginning of the year, when you're creating this challenge and deciding that you want to save up $10,000, you need to look at your whole year of expenses. You need to look at what you're spending per month, and you need to actually make sure you know where your money's going. You can do this in a lot of different ways. You can write it out by hand. I have some sheets that can kind of guide you through that process if you want to check out the description box for those links. You can also use a app for budgeting. I like a lot of different ones. I like Copilot, I like Monarch, I like Quick and Simplify, I like Rocket Money. I will leave links for all of those down below. But basically they allow you to set up a budget for the month and actually see where your money's going. So that way you can make sure that you are not spending more than you're earning and you actually have the money every single time you get paid to put towards your $10,000 goal. Basically, you want this savings goal, this challenge, to be the highest importance in your budget. That means you pay it first. It's like your mortgage or your rent. You have to pay that bill in order to have a house to live in. You need to make sure that this savings goal is on that same level. It's one of the first bills you pay. It is not something that you wait till the end of the month and see if you have a little bit of money left, because usually you're not going to have that money left. It needs to be something that you're paying first when you get paid. Adopting this type of mindset where you're putting your savings challenge first in your budget is actually really what's going to get you to accomplish the goal. You're actually much more likely to stick to the plan throughout the year if you're treating your savings challenge like a bill, because you're not going to be falling behind because you didn't have enough money at the end of the month last time. You're not going to be falling behind because you just can't find the money in your budget. No, you're going to be paying it first before everything else. And then if you don't have money, you're going to cut something else. You're not going to cut this. It's going to be your priority. And that is the mindset that you need to take in order to actually accomplish the goal. Okay, so what if you don't actually have any money to put toward this goal? What if you're setting this $10,000 goal as a huge stretch for you and you just don't see how it's going to be possible? Then you need to do the next steps, which are to actually work on your spending and your income. The first thing you need to do is to cut some of your spending. Cut some of the areas that you're spending money where you don't actually have to. Because you're moving this savings challenge up to the main priority of your spending, you're gonna have to cut something else most likely. So you need to look at things like your subscriptions, your reoccurring expenses, things that you're probably not paying as close attention to right now, and see if you can get rid of some of those. Then you need to look at things that are variable spending each month. So things like your grocery budget, things like eating out, your drink spending, things like that, where you are maybe spending more than you have to and you could cut back a little bit. It's looking at things like clothing and going to recreational activities, things like that you could potentially cut out in order to give you the money to put towards your savings goal. Sometimes to achieve a financial goal like saving $10,000, you have to make some sacrifices. So you might have to cut a few things throughout the year in order to save that money toward your goal. Depending on your income and your previous spending habits, you might have to cut more than other people. Some people might have the income in order to get to this goal without doing a lot of cuts, and some people might have to cut a lot of spending. It really depends on where you are financially, but whether you have a huge income or not, this is possible. So you might have to just cut more than others to achieve it. The next thing you need to do is to look at and work on your impulse spending. Everyone does impulse spending, whether they think they do or they don't. All of us have impulses to spend money, and we likely are spending more than we actually need to because of those impulsive choices. In fact, impulsive spending can really wreck your budget and it can completely derail savings plans, and it's often why people are spending more per month than they're actually bringing in an income. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and impulsive spending is part of that problem for most people. There are a lot of different things that you can do to work on impulsive spending. So setting a 24-hour rule before you make a big purchase is really helpful. Writing down all of the things that you want to spend before you actually buy them can be really helpful. Seeing it on paper rather than just adding it to your cart and buying it immediately can be really helpful. Things like that. There's lots of different techniques that you can learn that can help you cut back on that impulsive spending when you're out and when you're shopping online. So doing those things throughout the year will help you have more money to put toward your $10,000 savings goal. One thing to note is that if you are a lower income person trying to do this goal, you might just have to make more money. Sometimes having more income is the only way to actually achieve a financial goal like saving $10,000 in a year. So you might have to find ways just this year to increase your income so that you're earning more money and can put that money toward this goal. Maybe you can work more overtime hours at your job. Maybe you can get a second job or a seasonal job that you only work during the summer or you only work during the later part of the year at a store. Maybe you can start a side hustle and earn money with your skills that you already have, or you can start a new side hustle and earn money that way. There's lots of different ways that you can increase income. It's actually easier, I think, to increase your income than to cut all of your spending and expenses for the year. If you have the time and the physical capability to earn more money, if you have those options, this can be the easiest way to actually earn enough to save $10,000 in a year. Even earning just a little bit extra money per month can get you a lot closer to that $10,000 saved in 1 year goal. And the final thing that I would recommend in order for you to save $10,000 in a year is to actually track your progress. With any financial goal, I think tracking your progress and actually evaluating where you are realistically is the key to succeeding. If you don't know where your money's going, if you don't know how much you put toward your goal, you're less likely to achieve it. So tracking your progress and seeing how much money you've added every single month, every single week is really helpful to achieving the goal. It's also really motivational for most people to have some sort of tracker so that they can see, just physically look at the tracker and see that they've made this much progress. And it can feel really hard on certain weeks to save money when you're facing unexpected expenses. It can be really a struggle sometimes, but having that external physical reminder that you can look at and see how much progress you've made can completely change your mindset and make it a little bit easier on those hard weeks. A lot of the apps and trackers that I mentioned earlier in the video and will be in the description box can help you look at those goals. Monarch is actually one of the best for tracking those savings goals that you might have. And then I also have some trackers for $10,000 savings challenges in my shop if you want to look at those, or even just create your own. You can write out your own goals on a piece of paper and give yourself something to color in or to check off, just so that you can see the financial progress as you work toward this goal throughout the year. Those are just a few of the things that I've done throughout the years when I've been working on my own $10,000 savings challenge goals. I have found that they are really practical ways to earn more money, save more money, and actually achieve the $10,000 savings mark. I felt so amazing the first time I saved $10,000 in a year. It felt like I had hit this amazing personal finance milestone, and that money has really been helpful in order to achieve our other bigger financial goals that are on the path to financial freedom. So I hope that you are better equipped now to save your own $10,000 this year, and I would love to hear if you've been able to do it in the comments. And if you need more ideas on how to save money, definitely check out this next video. It will help you on your path to actually saving $10,000 this year.